Hey, it's Friday morning, everybody. Chuck Karstensen, A Course in Miracles, lesson 19. And this time I thought I'd share a little bit about actually how I found the book, A Course in Miracles. It was late June. Melissa and I had decided to go to Red Wing overnight. We dropped Lucas off at St. Thomas basketball camp, and we just kept going south and stayed down there and hung out. In the day, the second day we were there, we were going downtown to their shops and went in a bookstore. And I wasn't planning on getting any books, and Melissa likes to get books. And I have a decent amount of books. The reason I don't plan on getting more books is a lot of times I read the same books every once in a while, a couple, 3-4 times, trying to actually learn from them. I'm somebody who can read books and then I move on and I forget to do anything in them and not often concentrate on them. So just a general lesson is study a book then and utilize what's in it. And I can't say I've been amazing at that. Obviously, with the Course in Miracles book, I'm doing that more. But anyway, I go in this bookstore. I forget what it's named. It's in Red Wing, downtown, or off downtown area. And the lady asked me, what do I like to read? And she first said, have you been here before? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, everybody who's new here gets a free book. Tip for you, if you go into Red Wing, you can get a free book. And what do you like to read? I'm like, well, spiritual, personal growth type of books. And she's like, what religion? I'm like, Christian. And she's like, okay. She looks around, she comes back and she hands me this book, The Screwtape Letters by C.L. Lewis. And I haven't read this book since my eye issue because of the reading challenges. But basically, this book is about how the letters are like the devil writing, or the not devil, like devil's writing. I would say that it is like the devil's like helpers writing to each other how to mess people's lives up. It's basically how it is, and talking strategies about how to mess people's lives up, and then how they're kind of annoyed that people overcome things and God's always there for them. But it's mostly about messing people's lives up. It's kind of interesting, and it worked really well because I'd read this book and then I'd pull out the Course in Miracles book and kind of get how it kind of works together and how we do get distracted in life. Now, a Course in Miracles book talks a lot about ego. I mentioned this before, but now sticking to the story. So since they give me this free book, I'm like, okay, maybe I should buy a book and not just get a free book and leave. So I'm looking around in the personal and spiritual growth section, and normally I would never, ever get a book this thick. This is a very thick book. How many pages in it? There's different parts to it, and then they have page numbers in each part because it's a workbook. And the one part that I'm flipping through now is like 700 pages. And then it starts over and has another. It's literally like 1,500 pages. Very thick book. I would never get that. But I looked at the title. I'm like, A Course. I looked at it this way: A Course in Miracles. That sounds pretty interesting. And I maybe looked at the preface. I don't know. I'm like, I'm going to get this. This sounds like a good book. And like I said, I started reading it July 1st. And I did rotate. I'd read this book. This is very short, like 3-4 pages, small enough to read. And then the words on this, a lot of words on every page. So it was a good amount of reading. And I was taken to, like I said, the contrast of how basically in the one book talks about how the devils like write to each other, the devil's helpers, and try to mess with people. And then the Course in Miracles, which kind of says that's all an illusion, or it's your ego or your split-mindedness. And I know the last video I talked about fear, and one thing I'm continue to understand, it's not like I'm perfect. I like cast out all fear. We talked about perfect love casts out fear. But I do think it's important to know that potentially something like this is always going on in the background. Like, how can we mess with these people's lives? Like in the Bible, it says the forces and principalities of evil are lurking. So that can be a challenge. But if you understand that, but understand they're also not there standing right here messing with you, and that our mind can receive the miracle, receive the atonement, and we can be miracle workers to help other people receive it. I think it gives us a good chance to move in the right direction, help other people find that peace, find that love, find that joy. So it was good timing for me because I don't think if I went through all this eye stuff and the downtime I had where I couldn't work out, I would have had a good mindset or good attitude. I would have really struggled. Today was the first day I got to go back and play basketball. It wasn't very good at all. Feel bad for Evan, who had to play with me because I just didn't have enough energy. It was tough. But the good thing about playing basketball at Cambridge, the guys are not like cutthroat. It's like, okay, we'll just play. But it would have been a struggle for me not to work out for literally 4 weeks. Was a struggle, or would have been worse of a struggle. But having the miracle mindset, having the progression, the learning, the understanding, the personal and spiritual growth is very helpful to get through like a challenge like that or a temporary setback like that. So hopefully this message would help you decide like, okay, what could I learn, read, grow in to help me have a better mindset, help me find a little more peace, help me find a better spot of joy. So thankfully we went in that Red Wing bookstore. She gave me this free book, the lady owned it. And then I decided maybe I should buy something. And then I got this book and I've been, into this book for a while. I'm actually going to try to read a little bit today instead of just listen. I'm gonna push my eye to read a little bit and see what happens. So have a blessed day. I wanted to share that story today. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you in a couple days again.